building the masjid.
Excellent.
So he used to like separate himself from everything else.
So the brother is saying, Prophet would physically take part in digging the trench, building the masjid. He did all this work. Yes?
Regarding power, the fact that he used himself as his companion.
Excellent. Jazakallah khair for being so insightful. Never heard that one before. He used shura. Power and fame, political power, control, and he uses shura, consultation. Excellent. Shiraz will get to you now. Fadal.
The people, his successors, they lived frugally as well. They didn't, from the Khalif to the generals.
Excellent.
They didn't do anything, even though they conquered them.
So you use Abu Bakr and Umar. Even they lived this type of life, and of course Uthman and Ali radiallahu anhu as well, and even actually Muawiyah, the more authentic narrations. So excellent. Yes. About power and status and fame.
In the battles, he fought with any other foreign.
Okay.
It wasn't him like in the back and sends his men off to fight.
Sending people off.
He's flying guard, like
okay.
Excellent.
Jazakallah khair. So you get the idea now. We'll take the last one. Muhammad had your hand up for a while.
During the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, the guy said, we don't want the messenger of Allah on the contract. He actually, with his own hand,
erased it.
So that's something.
Excellent. Did you hear that, sisters? The Treaty of Hudaybiyah, he said, we don't want Muhammad Rasulullah, and he erased it with his own hand. Okay, great. طيب. How Ahmed, on time are we doing? Half an hour?
Yeah.
Yes. No? You can give me exact, yeah, it's not an issue. Try to end on time. Alright, let's do the next one. Women. You ready, Muhammad? Go ahead. I didn't mean that in a bad way. I don't know why you're laughing. Go ahead.
Someone didn't get married until he was 25, and he didn't get married again until after his first wife passed away. Until he was over like 50.
Great, but don't skip any point. You skip some important points there. So the accusation is that you're saying he pretended to be a prophet because he wanted women. That's his whole motive to pretend to be a prophet. He wanted women. So Muhammad is saying Prophet didn't get married until he was 25. That's the first thing. All right. Second thing, there's one more, which is what?
He limited.
Hmm?
He limited the number of wives.
Okay, but there's one more. Let's stay with Khadija radiallahu anha. Yes?
She was 15 years older.
She was 15 years older, right? She was 40. No womanizer does that. Womanizer always goes younger, right? So then, first he was 25. Second thing, she was 40. Let's stay with Khadija, people. We're staying with Khadija radiallahu anha.
The culture of Arabia at this time, men can marry as many women as he wishes.
Okay.
Rasulullah stay only with Khadija.
Jazakallah khair.
For 10 years or so.
Okay, so the sister is staying with Khadija. She's saying that the Prophet remained with Khadija radiallahu anha only for a while. That's another point. Stay with Khadija, please. Yes?
Khadija anha was the one who actually sent the proposal for wedding to Rasulullah.
Excellent point. That's not the way the womanizer works. She proposed to him, staying with Khadija.
She was widowed twice.
Jazakallah khair. Was that what everybody else was going to say? She was widowed twice. Excellent. Yes? Shut up.
He worked under her. He wasn't her boss. She was his boss, and he didn't steal her wealth or abuse her wealth.
Okay. Link that to him not being a womanizer.
If he was a womanizer, he would just use her.
Okay. Jazakallah khair. Very good. But you see how this is just now, Khadija radiallahu anha already made like 5 points just from this wedding. You want to go to the next step? Next wedding? Or next, yeah. Who was it to, first of all? Yes.
First, he only married, after Khadija, he married the wives that their husbands were killed.
Okay, that's true. That's very true. I just want to go in order just so it's easy for us. So he married Sauda bint Zam'a radiallahu anha. How old was she?
60.
Narrations go anywhere from 50 to 65 years old. Right? That's one. She was older. Two, she was also widowed. Right? She was married to, if I'm not mistaken, Sukran ibn Amr, I think. Right? Right? Not Sahih. Then what else about Sauda radiallahu anha? Okay. She was also the only one of the wives of the Prophet that was not known or celebrated for her exquisite beauty. Okay, of all the wives, she's the only one not known to be extremely beautiful. The rest were all known to be extremely beautiful people. You go now on the internet, you find Muslims who have written books saying they were all not known for beauty, they were all unattractive. What's the matter? And there's not a brother in the room because he wants a beautiful wife. But you want your Prophet to have all 11 women who are not attractive. That's not true. But they're just trying to move it away from having any kind of beauty or sexual connotation. So they say the mothers of the believers were unattractive. We don't bend the truth to suit some kuffar who run after beautiful women all their life. And what are we ashamed of? So we don't say things like that ever. So as some of the people were saying, yes, all of them were, except for Aisha, all of them were widowed or divorced, or some of them were married for social reasons, some for humane reasons, like Sauda bint Zam'a. It is said she had no place to stay. The Prophet married her, brought her into his home. Some of them had a da'wah benefit, like the marriage of the Prophet to the daughter of Abu Sufyan. Her name was Habiba. Which other ones that was related to marrying the daughter of a leader of a tribe for da'wah purposes? Juwayriyah bint al-Harith, Safiya bint Huyay ibn Akhtab. Very good, excellent. Now the weddings that showed the status of the father of Aisha, when he married Aisha, it also showed the position of Abu Bakr. When he married Hafsa radiallahu anha, showed the position of Umar. Yeah.
I just wanted to interject that all the refutations have Muslim connotation, like they're from the Muslim.
Right, because obviously that's where the majority of the information is. Right. So we're saying, look at the information available. We're using that to analyze. Now we need to reassure them that this information is very authentic. Because of time, we're doing that tomorrow. So first, you're proving to them, look, this is where we get our info from. All right, you can trust it, and now we use it to say, look. Could he have been a genuine prophet or not? Where was I? Yeah, which wedding had to do with ahkam and religious revelation? Zaynab bint to Jahsh. Right, great. So now we're starting to see, when you look at it, you don't see this trend of someone who's a womanizer. You see someone exactly the contrary of that. Yeah. Anything else you want to add to the marriages of the Prophet ﷺ? That he wasn't about women? Link it now to the teachings, to the Quran, just like we did with money. Yes?
Two of the marriages were orders from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Okay, which two?
Aisha radiallahu anha
and Zaynab. Zaynab is actually the easier one, right? So Aisha and Zaynab. Yes?
If he was just using them for sexual reasons, why are they called the mother of the believers?
Okay. And why are they just... Who said the Prophet put a limit? The Quran put a limit. It says, that la yakhulid laka nisa, that it's not permissible for you to marry after this. Why put an end to it? And why 11? If you're making up the deen, and you're a womanizer, and that's why you made up the deen, the sky's the limit. Right? What about the teachings, the Quran? And the pastor, of course, would write it, and their motive would be reflected. You have to write that down. The motive would be reflected in his teachings, because he made it up. Quran.
The environment he was in before, it was actually much easier to do any type of womanizing. So.
Right. So why make a religion that restricts it and then... But what about the message? What would his message say if he wrote the Quran with that motive in mind? Yes, sister? I think you're saying when the Quran said the men are to take care of women, that's not a writing of a womanizer, right? Because he doesn't want to take care of... Womanizer doesn't want to take care of anybody, right? Specifically, what would the Quran say? Yes?
Inheritance, both of them?
Possibly. You're not wrong. Yeah, go ahead.
Zina.
Huh?
Zina.
Why would zina be haram? Excellent. What else?
It's like why the hijab issue should be enforced, because they need to women be exposed at womanizers.
Okay, womanizer probably want women uncovered. So why hijab? Anything else? Just like with the money, people, with the Quran, what would it say if he wrote it for the sake of money? It would say, bring your money to the Prophet. Yeah?
That's what I was thinking.
Good. And if it was for women, again, it would say, let them be blessed by the Prophet. Yeah, this is now happening in Muslim lands. Alright? where the sheikh, that would say, let me bless your wife this night. And the sheikh would bless her. And the guy would pick her up in the morning. Muslim countries, Arab countries, this is happening. Okay? So it would have been, this is just some so-called sheikh. So if this person was an impostor prophet, it would be so much easier for him to do things like that. And possibly blessing people left and right. But this is not the case here. But, so we can easily now cross out women. But what else? We said madman, possessed, schizophrenic. How do we refute those? Yes?
According to even before, they said we didn't know him ever as a madman, and this is not a speech of even a madman. So even then they use this accusation of him to be a madman.
Right, excellent. So what you're going to do, you're going to use the same arguments in the Quran. Or you're going to say, look, if he were a madman or a schizophrenic, because one time this person was telling me that, have you ever thought, what if he was an epileptic? When he went into epileptic seizures, he heard voices, and when he revived, he said, well, this is the Quran. He heard these voices, and that's what he came up with, how he came up with this religion. So, it's, in his mind, it's a possibility. I have to refute it. So I told him, listen, since the time before the Prophet ﷺ and after his time until today, how many epileptics have lived and died? He said, maybe tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands. I said, okay. Of all these thousands upon thousands of epileptics, and all of them having their seizures, not one ever again in the history of mankind, when they got into the seizures, heard a voice and came up with this phenomenal system of government, how to deal with your wife, and how to run the state, and how to deal with one another, and akhlaq, and how to be merciful with animals, and all of this from an epileptic seizure, and no other epileptic ever